All right, so coming up next is someone who has been a huge supporter of NoteExpo since the very beginning. His firm is always willing to step up as one of our top sponsors. This year, they're the leadership sponsor. They make a lot of what we're able to do for you guys during breaks, lunches, the welcome reception tonight they're hosting. So not only is this presentation going to interest you as far as the difference between generating income and building wealth, but please put your hands together for a great industry supporter, Michael Griffith with FCI.
Did you guys all see that? It looked like I had a big booger hanging from my nose, the way that mouse was sitting there. Well, thank you. The topic today is, I'm going to try to share with you what the customers, many of our customers are doing to make money. And we look at it as two ways. There's generating income or building wealth, and it's a different strategy what we're looking at. And so we're going to focus on generating income, and I'm going to give you some examples of what many of our customers are doing and who we are and what we're doing and how we can help you do this. So we've been in this building since 2003, and we purchased the building next to it. We've outgrown our facilities where we have 150-something people now, and we just acquired this building across the street to service our customers better. So that's that one's about 21,000 square feet that we just moved into, where I have about 60, 70 people over in that building right now. So we're doing well in that aspect. For our customers, I hope who was here last year and maybe heard, okay, good. I talked about the economy's doing well, interest rates are low, buy notes. And what's happened to that market? That market has gotten expensive because you could buy a note, you could buy a troubled note, and you can make money on buying discounted notes. Now, I'm showing you from last year to this year that we went from original principal balance of $28 billion in our portfolio to $38 billion. We have over $9.4 billion under management. We're the smallest, largest company out there. What I mean by that is, being small, we still do one loan at a time. You buy one note, this is our expertise. The big guys that like BSI and all the other major servicers, they refer their customers to us if you have less than 50 notes or 100 notes, and they refer them to us. We're one of the rare companies still in the industry that will take one note at a time at our size when we're managing over 36,000 notes at any given time. For the year, what's the main notes lately? Fix and flippers and business purpose loans are the biggest notes that are being loaded into our system. We handle between 45 to 60,000 loans a year. I see what our customers' expertise is. I see what they're doing. We talk about it, of how to make money and what they're doing to make the money. And this is some of the stuff that I want to share with you on my favorite subject. Let's make some money on these notes and go from there. As you can see, we process about 33,000 payments a month. And if you look at year to date, as of 10/19, we've paid out to investors like you $4.5 billion in borrower payments already this year alone. So we're in the industry, we know what to do. Now, customers may not be totally happy with our services. We are really stringent, I'm anal, I know it, about compliance. Everything has to be compliant. We're audited, states are auditing us left and right. CFPB, Borrowers or attorneys are inquiring if your note's valid, if you have all your loan documents, can you prove up your principal balances, can you prove up payment histories? There's many things that have to be done to be compliant. If you want to be compliant and you do it right, that's what my reputation is at our company, then you would want to choose FCI. If you want to sneak under the radar and do other things to make a quick profit, please use another servicer. So, with us being compliant, we're the only #1 rated company as a specialty servicer in the country. For 4 years in a row now, we have been #1 in the industry. No other company has met all the compliance, all the requirements, all the reporting, everything that we do. Why is that important to you? If you turn over your servicing to us, you know we're not going to get you in trouble. You get in trouble by lawsuits, things missing, things not done properly, and most of all, you're not licensed properly. I personally hold 93, 94 licenses. Some states require servicing license, a debt collector's license, and an origination license. Origination, if you do a loan modification, I need an origination license in some of the states. Altogether, I think we hold 100 and something total licenses throughout the country. Why is this important to you? Because you won't have to give back all your money. If you collected money from your borrower and your servicer, or you didn't do it properly, give back all the money and make the house free and clear for the borrower. Now, an embarrassing thing, and I'll show you some dirty laundry. It says regulatory actions, yes. Back in 2008, 2009, I took on 2 loans from New Hampshire, and I didn't have a license. I had all the other licenses. So the lender gave me their portfolio, and it was 2 loans. And I thought, what the heck, right? Let me service them, no problem. 2011, the state of New Hampshire notified me that I did not have a license. I gave back 3 years worth of payments to the borrowers, and I got fined $3,000 per loan by the state on top of it. We got a license in 2011, but unfortunately, it's an ugly scar that stays with me for life. And that's why, if you want to know, if you have a loan and you're a servicer and you're using an outside servicer, just go to the nmlssystem.com. It's real easy. You type in your lender's name and see if they're licensed in the state where your loan is. You have to do that if compliance matters to you, or if you're just in it for a quick profit, then you may not care. But you will be caught eventually, the way that things are going. But nmls.com, it's real easy. You can see how they start to list the licenses. We're either licensed or registered. What does that mean? Not every state requires a license because I'm licensed in California, but I'm registered in the state to do business. So it's licensed or registered in all 50 states. Very important. Okay, back to the fun part. What we do, the #1 thing that you'll want to have to be successful is information. If I can give you all the tools and all the information that you need to be successful, this works for you. So we've created a website that right here you click on lender login, and we will give you everything about your loan, everything, and it's live. So if we speak with your borrower or even spoke to you and we entered a note, within 1 second you can see it on the website. Why is that important? You can go to our website and click on any of these buttons and look at any notes, any comments, any attachments, any distributions, any checks. Everything that we do for you as a servicer is click on one of these instant buttons. And we created an instant view for you to make the decisions that you need. One of the important things that a few of our customers love, we give you the tools to quote a reinstatement, to quote a payoff. Within a second or two, you can have all this information at your fingertip. Anybody ever hear of a company called American Homes for Rent? They're one of the largest REO owners. They were my customers with American Mortgage Investment Properties. They own 50-something thousand rentals across the U.S. They came from another servicer, and it took them 3 to 5 days to get a payoff or a reinstatement on one of their loans. They sat in my office and clicked that button, and the reinstatement came up in 1 second. And they asked, well, what's the catch? I said, no catch. It's just the way that we offer the information. It's available to you. And that's important for you guys to have the information available to you instantaneously. So when you have that borrower on the phone, you could be talking with them and chatting with them. We have Google links on your loan that you can look at their house for the last Google picture, foreclosures, area listings. We give it all to you. We give you strategy investment models, all at a click. We give you every tool for you to be successful and to make money. And that's the bottom line, is to make the money. So from a click of notice, you just pop up and we'll show you every deposit, every report coming. We can show you every pending disbursement. A lot of people will, well, when am I going to get my check? So now we give you the borrower's name right there, the loan number, and what date and amount that check is going to be sent into your account. That way you can watch. You know what's happening on your account, and it's all available to you instantaneously. So, with information available to you, it's at a click of a button. So, what's your business plan? What's your systematic business plan to create and develop, either generate income or to build wealth? And many of our customers, I'd say over half, generate income because they're borrowing monies from hedge funds. I have clients that, I have over 800 clients that have over 100 million in loans with me right now. As you saw back in the earlier thing, I have over 3,000 clients that own 1 to 3 loans. So there's a couple people here that we service for that have 20, 40, 50 loans with us. Fantastic. But the average customer, the small investors, have 1 to 3 loans. We have over 3,000 of those people. On my website, we get 25 to 27,000 logins a week onto our site, people looking at their information. So it's all available to you. Now, generate income. You have to, don't be wishy-washy. Don't be all over the place. And sometimes we get customers, well, I don't know, I'm looking here, but I want here. Develop a plan, stick to it. So we're talking about what kind of states you want to buy in, what kind of foreclosure timelines are you going to be looking at. Determine the territory and determine how long is it going to take. For instance, Arizona, 60 days. New York is 6 years. So a big difference of where do you want to buy your notes. A lot of people buy, I had a person tell me today, well, I own the notes in the Rust Belt area. They go, oh, you're old enough to know. And well, thank you. So where do you buy your notes? Where are you wanting to capitalize on this? Determine the UPB range. Prices really vary on what price range you're going to be in. If you're buying below 50,000 or below 35,000, you're probably going to be buying that note for cheaper prices. If you're buying 50 to 100 to 150,000, you're paying in the upper 60s, 70s, and 80% range for these notes, and especially in an up market. Now, do we stop buying when the market turns or it gets tough? No. We buy better is what happens. The prices will drop. And so you just make it where you can purchase these notes and determine. So you want to determine delinquency range. Do you want to deal with a borrower that, I have many notes, thousands of notes that are, oh goodness, 5 to 8 years delinquent. You have statutory problems. You have court problems. It's a whole new idea, but you can buy those at a bigger discount. Versus if you're buying a note that's only a year delinquent, 8 months delinquent. It's a different borrower. It's a different mindset. And then determine the owner. Do you want the house to be owner occupied? Now I'm going to talk to you about the strategy that's really working for a particular group that I have in mind that I'm going to be sharing with you. So the group that I have in mind, they only buy owner-occupied. They buy between the $50,000 to $150,000 prices. They look for the 6 months to 18 months delinquent in the notes, and they want, because it's owner-occupied, they want a property owner that wants to stay in their house, which is, I'll share with you a little bit about how important that is, about how that's worked out. So, staying away from different states. Now, on our website, I pointed an arrow here. We give you the investment strategy model, or you use your own investment strategy model for determining return on the investments. So once you've set your other parameters, use a model. Don't make this emotional. Make this just a calculated business plan for you. So you click on ours. All our customers get it free. Now, unfortunately, that's hard to read, isn't it? Basically, what we do is we take these numbers, and you can see that this note, existing note, is 7.5%. We're offering to buy it for 65 cents on the dollar. And so the total purchase price up at the top right-hand side is $44,727. So by buying that at a discount, that 7.5 note, it adjusts the APR because you're paying $44,000 and you're getting payments on 68. So now you got a reoccurring note, if that becomes reperforming, at 11.5%. That's very important. So in the term and the discount, for if you're looking for income, investors are looking for that 11.5%. So now in the next section down, exit strategies, we look at flipping that note. How quick can I sell this note to turn it around? So we pay $44,000 for it. We think we can turn this note in 90 days. So in 3 months that we can resell this note, package it up, and that if we sell it for at 81% value, let me back up. We call the borrower. I say, borrower, what would you like to do with your house? You're X amount of months delinquent, you're X amount of dollars, would you like to stay in? The majority says, I want to stay in the house. And we say, what can we do to help you stay in this house? What would it take? And so we get the borrower engaged because the borrower hasn't made a payment in months or years, and then we get them re-engaged back into the property. So anyway, if we look at that, we could turn this note in 90 days, we could flip it for a 15.45% return. 15% in 90 days. So I'm gonna only make $6,900 on this property, but I'm making 15% on my investment. So you guys all understand the model, right? So there we have foreclosures, sold at foreclosure sale, reinstated. We have in the models all the different things. But for generating income, we're gonna focus on reselling the investment. As I have to tell a couple of my friends, don't fall in love with your note, resell it. And because we're flipping it for money. So what's my return if I sell that note in 90 days for $6,900? What's my APR? What am I making on my money, guys? 62%. I love it. My savings account at the bank is earning less than 1% right now. So at 62% APR on my investment, I'm loving it. So it's easier to find money. Eddie's going to speak to you about becoming the bank, flipping money. This is an easy way to have someone put up the money, you pay them 10% APR, and you pocket 62% and build your wealth that way for the income. Now, what I've done here is I built a model of taking each one of those exit strategies and looking at these notes. This was a real tape. This is a real bunch of loans that we were looking at. This isn't hypothetical. So explain to you what we're doing here. The paid to date, how delinquent the loan is, what the rate of what the note is, if the note became reperforming. So you see on that first line, it's an 8.69% note. If it became reperforming at our discount, we'd be earning 12%. Estimated market value, $258,000. we're going to offer $118,000 for that $164,000 note. So we're going to offer 72% to buy that note. Now, a lot of us like to buy at 35, 40, 50 cents on the dollar, maybe 60, but that one's 72%. But look at the percentage of the market value. If I pay 118, I'm only at 46% for the market value. I don't own a note all day long every week at 40% LTV, for that type of debt ratio. What does that mean if it's 46%? That means you're not going to get the house back. You're going to get paid off or a good portion of it and make your money. Now, I'm going to turn around and offer it for sale and I'm going to say I want an 18% flip. I'm going to sell this note that I just bought for 118 for $140,000 is what I'm going to sell it for. I'm going to make a potential profit of $21,000. Now, flip price of the UPB, 85%. Would you guys buy this note at 85% of UPB? All day long. Market value, LTV is 46%. This is what we call grandma's money. This is the check that just keeps coming in because you're at less than 50% loan to value ratio, and that's why you would buy that and pay 83% on that UPB. You just made $21,000. You just made 18% on your flip in 3 months. So you do that on each one of those notes. You just paid $429 for that pool, and you pocket $505 or made $76,000 in 3 months. Our customers are doing this every day of the week. And you don't know when you're going to get a treasure out of this. Don't fall in love with your product. If you're doing it for income and I start flipping that kind of money and making $76,000 every 3 months, and I'm ended up with a 60-something percent APR at the end of the year, I'm going to enjoy it all the way to the bank. And investors are going to give you more and more money, so all of a sudden you double that, triple that as you build it. But you build your track record, and this is what the big guys are doing. I have guys that are buying hundreds of notes at a time, and this is what they're doing. I wanted to share with you what they're doing because they're paying Wall Street and they're paying their investors, and these type of returns are phenomenal for Wall Street and for your friends and everybody else to be making 60, 70, 80% return on your investments. So the big thing is sometimes you're going to get a big catch in there. Sometimes there's going to be a note in there that just doesn't sell, but you reel in that big those notes right there, and all of a sudden you get a big surprise of a big catch that one of these notes might make you more money. Oh, how'd that get in there? There was a big catch. All those little fish, see them in the background right behind me, those little teeny ones? And all of a sudden I pulled in that big puppy. You never know when you're going to catch the big fish. So I'm giving you an example of a big catch. We had this note, first trustee, UPB, $62,400. Interest rate was 6%. The payment was due for 2013, very delinquent. You can see it's just a standard little small house. I think it was 900 square feet, well, does it say? Yeah, excuse me. 930 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, built in 1925. That's going to be a real winner. Wouldn't you think that'd be a big catch? We put it on the market through the different note listing things. We try to use 1 to 3 places to sell notes. It did not sell. And we didn't want a foreclosure. It didn't fit our model because we were building wealth, and I'll explain that in a minute to you. But it did not sell. And we listed the note for $40,000 that I could make a $5,500 flip price on this. And that would have lowered my return down to about 15% on my investment. But it did not sell. The note went to foreclosure sale because we tried to sell it for the month before the foreclosure sale. It went to foreclosure sale, and a bidder at the foreclosure sale paid us $62,442.70 for that note. That was our big catch. You get surprises when you're buying notes. Don't buy one note, don't buy two, buy 3 to 5 and run the odds. Work them, change them, have your model, attack these loans for what you're looking for, and then you get surprises like this. I could have never told you that little house right there was going to be very profitable for us. So what did we end up doing? We almost got another extra $30,000 from my $5,500 that we were willing to sell that note for. So you never know when one of your notes is going to come up and surprise you and what's going to happen. But you just have a systematic model of attacking that. Now, let's talk about the borrowers. One of the strategies that we try to do is to work with the borrower. You heard me say, get the borrower re-engaged. Get the borrower involved in conversation. We have door knockers that hand letters to the homeowner and say, please, we want to help you keep you in your house. We want to work with you. Please call us. Of course, that costs us money and everything, that service. But the whole idea is the minute that I own that note, or the investors own these notes, we get the borrower engaged. Our thing is a note worth more if it's making monthly payments than if no payments have been made? You betcha. And that's why we're able to turn it for the 18% return on the average investment. So dealing with the borrowers, they haven't made a payment. They've heard every story in the book. They've had collectors call them. By the time we end up with the note, and the time you guys would buy a note, they've been hard collected. And they're scared, they're embarrassed, they're angry, they're frustrated, they think they're going to lose their house, and they'll do everything they can to stay in there as long as possible. So a couple people cringe over this. Let me tell you one of the secrets that we do that really engages the borrower. We say, what if we forgive all your past due payments, the interest on all your past due payments, and just bring you current? Can you make monthly payments? And you listen to whatever the story is. Every note has its own story. Everybody realizes that, right? Every one of these delinquent notes has its own story. These are individuals that you're dealing with. These are people's homes. These are families. And so if you treat them with care and compassion, that, hey, we're here to help. Let me get you back online. Let me straighten it out. Have you guys ever been, I've been there, so in debt that all you do is keep running into that wall? Or, the example of the forest and the trees. All you do is that's all you see is the tree in front of you. When you have gigantic debt over you, there's very little hope. How am I going to pay my bills? What are we going to do? Holidays are coming up. It's a very traumatic period. You lift them up and you get them out, and they look at the entire forest, and things are so much clearer when their mind is clear of debt and fear of losing their house and for the embarrassment of foreclosure and everything. You can be a hero. So what we do is we say we're going to forgive your debt. If you make payments, we put this in the modification agreement. If you make payments for 1 year, basically on time, we'll forgive all your past due payments. Now, when we buy these, did we pay for those past due payments? What did we purchase on, guys? We buy on UPB. We're not adding principal payments, the interest payments, usually the other servicers' advances. Usually we're not paying for that. So the other tax advances, the foreclosure charges, the attorney charges, the inspection reports, it could be thousands of dollars that has come and say, Miss Homeowner, let me help ease your fear. Let me help you keep your house. You start making that monthly payment to me. Like, say that they've been modified. A lot of these notes have been modified 2 or 3 times. And all of a sudden we're seeing interest rates of 2%. So what we've done is say, hey, but I got to modify this note to be a 6% note. I'm going to forgive this for you. We're going to remodify because your note was originally a variable rate and it was a much higher rate, and then it was modified down to here. You didn't make it at 2% or 3%. Why do I want it at 6%? Why do I want to modify it 6? For my flip, for my return on the investment. That's why that's so important. And I haven't had a homeowner ever argue with us that, hey, from 4% to 6%, if you forgive all of my past due charges and fees and things that have come up. You're a hero. You're feeling good. They're feeling good. You got a re-engaged borrower, and everybody is happy. Then you flip and sell that note, and you make your 15, 18, 20% return on your flip. And hopefully you've done it in 3 months, maybe 4 months. So if it's 4 months, you flip it 3 times, 18%, not bad, times 3. You're making a very good profit. This is what our big boys are doing. We have Goldman Sachs, we have Wells Fargo, we have Deutsche Bank that have lent hundreds of millions of dollars to our customers. Our customers have just been going crazy these last couple of years of buying more loans and loading them onto our platforms. So my goal is give you all the tools that you need, make this available, and help you turn these loans. Now, you heard me say this was all to build wealth, correct? To build income. What I've done with my sons is we build wealth. So let's see if I can go back. If I go back to this slide, say that instead of the profit of $76,000 flipping on those notes, what we do is that every time we sell enough notes, we pay off one of the others, free and clear. So you guys understand what I'm saying here? So here's $76,000. Here, that would pay off that $49,000, that $45,000, that $32,000, that $36,000, that $40,000. We could pay off any of those notes. So depending on the amount of profit that we make, we never take the profit. We take the $76,000 and pay off the existing notes to have a free and clear note. And it used to be about a 3-to-1 ratio because we used to buy much cheaper, but now it's about a 5-to-1 ratio, a 4-to-1 to 5-to-1 ratio, that every 4 notes we buy, we're able to pay a note off free and clear because the other sold, because we're just looking for an 18% flip on the money. But now we've built up a portfolio of sizable amount of loans, all free and clear. We have 0 invested. What's our return on that? It's enough, I know. It's way up there. So that's how we build wealth. But many of our customers do this to flip income. So what I'm saying is take this and work it out with the borrower. Forgive the payments. You didn't pay for it. You didn't have to pay extra. A lot of people say, well, I throw it on the back side of the loan. I'm going to add it to the balance. Now, if that house is close to the UPB, to the market value, is the homeowner going to feel good that they owe more money than what the house is worth? Absolutely not. You're not helping. You're not easing their burden. That's why I'm saying if you've bought well enough, discount the payments that you didn't pay for, discount the charges that you most likely didn't pay for, become a hero, adjust the loan amount to an interest rate which will be excitable to a new purchaser, and flip that note. Or build wealth and pay off that note after you've flipped the other ones. Does that make sense, you guys? I hope so. The thing is not to get greedy. And that's the whole bottom line is I see at times people that get greedy and just want to yank every single dollar out of that loan. Because let me go back again to that chart. If you can make a potential profit and leave some profit on the table for the next guy. Is he going to come back and buy from you again? Absolutely. You'll have a good buyer. So if you get greedy and take him all the way up to the last dollar of what this property is worth, and he doesn't feel like he's getting the deal, because that's what I'm saying. If you're happy with the 16, 18, 20% flip amount that you're making, and you can do that 3 to 4 times a year and make 45 to 60 to 80% on your money, don't get greedy. Enjoy the flow. And that way you could be in this for years and years, like the gentleman this morning with the Lifetime Award. Amazing how long he's been doing this. Eddie with his $1,000 notes. Oh, you know what I forgot to tell you guys? When I showed Eddie, did I miss it? When I showed Eddie this picture, you know, and I said, Eddie, what do you think of my big catch? He says, now, Mike, you know, in Texas, that's just a Texas trout. You know, it's a nice fish, but it's just a trout, boy. You hear me? And I go, yes, sir. You know, so it's just that what's a big catch to us, keep it within your guidelines, keep your profit margin, leave some money on the table for the next guy, help the borrower feel good about themselves by forgiving, write the modification. Don't add all the stuff onto the end. Give them a clean, fresh start. And we have modification agreements, and I'm sure you've all seen it, on these things that will spell all the steps out. And here's the bottom line. If we tell the borrower, if you default and you go back to your old habits, all the money reverts back onto the property. So I'm not waiving anything in the end if they don't pay me right. But I would say we've been lucky about 90% of the time, and the borrowers end up waiving the money. But my job is we get it reperforming, collect a couple months, and then sell it. And that's how those flips are made. Wow, I got 9 minutes. It's hard to see, but are there questions? Right here in front.
So if I followed this, you're talking a strategy where people are borrowing money to buy the note on the first end, and then they get it modified and working, and then pay off that, and then that's where you're taking 4 to 1 or whatever, and purchasing that loan outright for you to keep. But at that point, do you then turn around and do a partial on that?
So you've taken it a step further. Last year I spoke about partials, and the year before that I spoke about partials, and the year before that I spoke about partials. What he's asking is, do you borrow the money on to buy these loans? And the answer, most people do. So they work it out with a line of credit with the bank, and they are able to pay 5-6% on a line of credit. Wall Street is costing 9 to 11%, and I call it the grandma or uncle so-and-so loan. We have Uncle Glenn in our family that he just wants income, so we pay him 8%. We borrow his money at 8%. We purchase these loan pools. We'll borrow $400, $500. I think our last purchase was $1.2 million that we just purchased of notes. And he put up the money at 8%. And his thing is that as each note paid off, we pay him back his principal. He's earning 8%. We're earning 60-something% return. Now, on the free and clear, by building wealth, that's exactly what we've done if you've heard me talk in the previous years. We've taken this plan, paid off the notes, now we have a free and clear note. Or if I still owe Uncle Glenn or whoever your uncle or aunt is that you can borrow the money from, and we sold the notes to them, made another, like say we bought the note, let's just take the last one. We bought the last one for $42,000. If it penciled out with an 8% return over 8 years on the amortization, which Martha's going to talk about, partials, and as they have taught me, there's 100 ways to do partials, and there's 100 ways to look at it. But we would say that we'd sell that note for $45,000, pocket the $3,000 above our cost, and then Uncle Glenn would get the money for 8 years through the amortization, and then we have a free and clear note at the end of 8 years. Because you know the way the partials work. There's 2 amortization schedules going. The loan that you borrow for the partial is a short term, whatever it is, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, and it's amortizing faster. 100% of the borrower's payment is going towards the investor's return. So you're taking that difference to what the UPB is to what you sold the note for. For instance, the UPB on this note is $53,000. So your equity would be the difference of what you owe on that. But yes, that's a whole nother strategy that I think I'm up to. I didn't want to brag or anything. I think we're up to 43 partials is what we own now. Now, last year someone asked me, how are your partials doing? And I said, fantastic. You know, we haven't lost on our partials. They all pretty much performed as planned. Well, someone kicked me in the butt. And we had our first partial go to foreclosure. And they stopped making payments. The investor was made whole, and instead of making, I think our equity was $20-something thousand. I think we made $18,000. But once again, our basis was 0, and we still made $18,000 on the sale of the REO. So that's a whole thing that I've totally learned here at NoteExpo years ago, is how to do partials. That's a whole nother thing. But this, I'm just trying to teach you how to either get a line of credit or use your own money and flip these loans as quickly as possible every 3 to 4 months to get the 45, 60, 80% return on your investment, or build wealth, or take it one step further. Okay, another question, anybody? Couple, okay. You want to stand up and ask it? In first row right here. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi, Mike. Who's your buyer when you flip the note back out? What's your typical buyer? Where do you find them?
On the exchange. Okay. We use the, there's different services. Some people use SN servicing. They've gone dark in 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks. We don't know what happened to SN. But there's like 3 or 4 different exchanges out there that will list the notes and sell the notes on the open market. And somewhere in the U.S., someone's buying them. My wife and I have even bought a few of my son's notes just because they're good returns. So, yes, sir.
Where are you getting the notes from, and what is the process you go through to get them? You mentioned earlier that you were buying them in bulk for about $1.2 million.
Well, that's what we paid for the last bunch of loans. There was 18 loans in that 1.2.
Okay, can you describe a little bit more in detail the process or the location and how
that's
that,
where
how that
Eddie, they're all over. We'll buy from the different exchanges also and buy bulk and purchase the loans. Sometimes I have people that just want to sell their loans out of their portfolios, and we'll buy their loans. They'll be up on the exchange, or we'll purchase from people that inside. It's being in the business 30-something years. I know a lot of different places, and this is what Eddie's group is going to teach you guys too on where to find the notes and where to get them. I just had Wells Fargo in my office last week. There was 9 auditors. They spent 2 days in my office. My one customer is going to become a Wells Fargo purchaser of those Fannie Mae, Freddie Macs, where you read about that $1 to $5 billion pools are sold. And I always look forward to that for when those notes are purchased in $1 billion to $3 billion increment, and then they counter sell out and liquidate them. But there's different servicers, there's different outfits that you'll see these pop up. That's why you'll see note sales going like this, because of what the portfolios are. This being November, we should see more loans coming up for sale for year end where banks need to get rid of them also. It's not good for the banks to have defaulted loans on the book because it affects their reserves. So there's many places like that. But that's what Eddie teaches, where to go and where to find these notes. I know they have their own platform too, and go from there. I got 1 minute, you guys. Any last Question? Hang on.
All right, everybody knows Mike's got his team and his booth down there. I know if you guys got a lot of questions, he'll be glad to handle those one-on-one with you guys. And again, Mike, thanks for being a big sponsor and supporter.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, everyone.
get everybody down, give you a chance to get down there so you can get the onslaught when they come down the escalator.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.